Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Serge. So today I want to talk to you about the new 2016 MacBook Pro gaming capabilities. I've tested all the latest games on this MacBook Pro and I've played them and I've enjoyed them, and I can tell you right now that if you're going to pick one up and you're going to get a dedicated graphics card solution on here, that you do not need to worry. Your MacBook Pro will be able to game fairly well. Now in this particular video I'm going to demonstrate the $2,800 model, which I believe was the best balance of price and performance that you should get. Don't go out there spending $4,300 on the MacBook Pro if you're just thinking about gaming or maybe even doing some content creation, because it is fairly expensive. I'm going to show you guys what is the best model to buy for gaming and even for work, but in this video I will be mostly talking about the gaming, and I'll also cover some accessories which I think you guys should take a look at for sure. As long as you're looking to get a MacBook Pro, this video is for you. Alright guys, let's get into the video. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get logged in here, and we're going to go ahead and set up the settings for League of Legends. So we have the max resolution, which is like 2K or 3K-ish res, which is really high. We have the very high on everything, the shadows and all that. It's looking really good. Now let's see how well it plays. So heading out to the battlefield here, and actually the performance is pretty impressive. Yes, League of Legends is a pretty old game now, and it's very optimized and it can run on just about any system, but we're getting around 120 130 FPS, and I tested this earlier in the 5v5 and there just wasn't any issues. I still maintained up in the hundreds of frames. Sometimes I dropped down to 80 during an intense fight, but overall it ran really well. I really didn't have too many issues playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It's kind of an old game now, and it's going to run pretty good on most systems, even systems that run on integrated graphics, like the MacBook Pro 13-inch, for instance, which I've also tested. So if you guys want to take a look and see what that's like, be sure to check out some of my videos here in the description or in the card. In this one here, we're basically testing it out with 1080p and high everything. If you want a little bit extra frames, you can run at 1680 by 1050, but it really just depends. It's really just up to you. Overall, the game ran good. I did have some hiccups while gaming. That was due to the server though, which I later switched, and I didn't have any issues. So definitely do not worry about that if you're going to be gaming. But it was another one of those games that can run pretty much on most systems. Here I have it tested with 1680 by 1050. Everything's maxed out except for the resolution. If you want to run at 1080p, grab the 4GB Radeon Pro 460. Right now I have the 455, and I believe that this one was the best balance for me because I didn't want to spend $4,300 on the laptop. Yes, this video says that it's the $4,300 model, but in actuality this is the $2,700 model. You can get the cheaper model and still play all your favorite games and enjoy them. Keep watching guys. I'm telling you, the results are actually pretty impressive. This on the spec sheet, this video card, the 455, doesn't look that good, but it actually performs quite well. Rocket League runs flawless. In all actuality, don't go out there buying the maxed out version of the MacBook Pro, the $4,300 model or the $5,000 model. Just don't do it. The best value is going to be the $2,800 model, the one that has the 512 PCIe based storage, 16GB RAM, and the Radeon Pro 455. Again, and that's because if you get the 256 storage based one, you know, it's still 2,400 and you're getting substantially a lot less storage. You need at least 512 if you want to dual boot from Mac OS and have games. And like me, for instance, I want to have Windows and I'm a content creator, so I need that extra storage. Definitely opt for the extra storage option if you can. I think it's totally worth it. However, upgrading the CPU is a total waste of money. Don't bother. The extra gigahertz really aren't going to help. It's already quad, so you don't need to worry too much about it. Okay, so when it comes to Rust, you're going to want to decrease the resolution as much as possible when gaming. Here you saw that I had it at 1440 by 900, and I couldn't do it. I had to drop down to 1280. So here I spawned. This guy was just trying to kill me. He was just so determined, and eventually he ended up killing me, so wasn't able to kill him. Here I discovered a base that was being raided. Thought I'd go take a look, see what's going on there. I wanted to see what the performance would be like during a raid. I had to decrease my graphics quality to basically 0 to kind of maintain in the 30s. I kept some of the higher quality graphics, like the lens dirt and the ambient occlusion on, but if you turn those off, you can get higher frame rates. And then they found out that I was there, and then they killed me. But generally, when nothing's going on, you can have about 30 FPS. It's just not very fun to play, though. You're going to have to decrease the graphics quality more if you want to be able to play this game. Alright, let's talk about Team Fortress 2. So this game runs flawless. You don't need to worry about it at all. I have the resolution up pretty high, 1680 by 1050, high textures, high shadows, everything's pretty high. Don't worry about playing this game. Take a look at the settings here, and yeah, it runs really good. I'm even in a full server playing 2 for it, and I'm getting around anywhere from 50 to 100 FPS. Pretty good. Playing on a max server with max players. 32 players, and it's doing pretty good. Alright, now how on earth do I test Garrys Mod? So I decided, you know what, I'll spawn a bunch of barrels, I'll see if I can crash the game, make it lag up, make it freeze up. Can't really get the game to slow down too much. Garrys Mod's been out for a while. It's a lot like Team Fortress 2, fairly optimized. If you like to play Garrys Mod, I would not worry about running it on this system. You're not going to have any issues. If you have a better way for me to test this, let me know. I'll maybe do a retest, and then we can see if we can do a better test. Alright, so I have most of the eye candy churned up, and I'm having the resolution at 1680 by 1050. It's pretty good. You can do 1080p res if you want, but I keep it at 1680 by 1050 because I want the frame rate to stay smooth. And as you can see, it actually works really, really well. I did not encounter any issues with this game. Max graphics, no AA, keep the ambient occlusion low or off, and you're gonna run pretty good. In most cases, I'm getting around 80 to 50 FPS. Sometimes I'm getting like 40. Might drop down to 35 and 25 if I get hit by like a missile or something, but usually that doesn't last very long and it doesn't feel too laggy. Overall, doesn't matter if you're in air, on land, the game runs pretty good. I don't think you guys are going to have any issues playing Battlefield. I actually really enjoy playing on this particular server. Got a couple kills here and there. It's pretty fun. So we're trying 1080p with high everything, no anti-aliasing. It lagged pretty bad, so I tried 1680 by 1050. Still lagging pretty bad, didn't get that much better FPS. After that, I decided, you know what, let's try 1280 by 800, because every time you lower the res, it's just gonna look substantially better. And I like to keep my textures and my shadows on high usually. Now, if you wanna play at 1920 by 1080p, keep graphics at medium and you can have higher res, or you can have lower res and high graphics. It really just depends on how you wanna do it. Me personally, I always opt for higher resolution textures as opposed to just resolution alone, because the screen is already pretty small, 15-inch, really not that big. So having 1920 by 1080p, who needs that? Why would I even need that? So anyway, it runs pretty decent. I'm pretty impressed with the performance. The remake for Doom has been pretty awesome. I love this game's graphical art style. It looks amazing. I have the graphics all on medium to low, resolution on 1280 by 800. You really can't play this game on any higher graphics just because, you know, when explosions happen and the maps are just so detailed, the game is like an 80 gigabyte game, so it takes up so much resources in the textures and in your RAM and all that. So I was able to enjoy it on medium and fairly low res, but you could always put the graphics even lower and run it at around 60 to 70 FPS. I always like to try to find that nice balance, you know, of FPS and graphical quality, and I think I found it with medium graphics and 1280 by 800. Natural selection to one of my favorite games. We have all the graphics here up, everything's looking amazing, except the only thing we did here is we have the 1280 by 800 resolution. Now that is the golden resolution if you want the game to run right and look pretty darn good. If you want, you can also up the resolution to 1680 by 1050, but you may want to turn some things down like atmospherics or anti-aliasing, and if you remove ambient occlusion and decrease some of the lighting, you can run at 1080p, no problem, 60 FPS. Overall, this game runs great, looks great, and is definitely playable on this laptop. FPS. Sometimes I might drop to 30, but I really like keeping that detail high, so I am going to keep it higher. If you want, you can reduce the graphics quality to medium to high. The game will still look excellent, and you'll have 60 FPS at 1080p. Here we're playing Metal Gear Solid. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graphical settings. We're changing everything to very high, and basically highest and ultra graphical settings. We're playing at 1280 by 800, and it's running smooth. We're getting a good like 50 FPS, 40 FPS, sometimes 60 and 70 depending on where you're at. And we're just gonna go ahead and run around for a little bit, and I want to show you what happens when we take that resolution and bump it up a notch to 1080p. At 1080p, it brings us down to about 29 FPS, sometimes 30, sometimes 35. If you put it at 1680 by 1050, the FPS should be playable at around roughly 40 FPS. But again, 1280 by 800 just runs buttery smooth. I would recommend that setting instead. Alright, here we have H1Z1 with the default graphical settings, and it just runs terrible. I highly recommend you change them because the game does not know how to detect your video card. It'd be nice if they released a patch for the game so it can scan to see what kind of card you have and then just apply the settings you need. But anyway, I turned the resolution down from native to 1080p, kept the graphical settings on high. Changing the draw distance doesn't seem to affect the game much. Here I am just running around, looking around, trying to find something to do. This game's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of like Rust, it's kind of like ARK Survival, but it seems kind of more boring. Like, this is a really populated server. I didn't see a single person in this game. Let me know what the heck I'm doing wrong, you guys. I seriously can't find anybody to attack. I found one zombie, and that was about it. Play the game at 1680 by 1050 if you want the game to run with higher than 35 FPS, because 1080p will run at around 35. Here I am playing Far Cry 3. I gotta admit, I did not think this game was gonna run at all. I'm like, you know what, Far Cry 3, AAA title, looks a lot like Crysis 3. Here we're running all graphics maxed out, and then resolution at 1080p, and I gotta say, I was pretty impressed. Runs really well, and this kill cam is off the hook. Shows like 3 different frames from where you got shot. Shows the bullet path and all of that. It's like really impressive. I guess Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike pretty much have this now also as well, but it's just kind of cool to see the really nice kill cam. The game looks really nice and plays really well. On high, and we're going to run at 1080p while playing Call of Duty. So this game didn't have any issues while running at these resolutions. It did dip to about 45, sometimes 40 FPS, and didn't really get any closer to 30 than that, but it ran decent. I didn't really have too many problems with it. The only thing that I had some issues with was finding a server, because people don't really play this game that often anymore, so for whatever reason I just couldn't even find a way to connect. But anyway, once I got in, I enjoyed it. It was fun and playable. If you want to be able to run Fallout at 1080p graphics, everything on high, you should upgrade to the 460. In this particular video, I'm only doing the 455, and it doesn't really run with that good with higher resolution games with the settings up that high, just because it only has 2 gigabytes of VRAM. So again, I only picked this model because it was cheaper, but it's really only $100 difference, and if you're already buying a MacBook Pro, I don't think it's that bad of a sacrifice. Consider getting it. I am in GTA. I have all the graphics turned up max except for the resolution. I keep the resolution around 1280 by 800, and I can use anti-aliasing to smooth out the edges and still get good frame rates. As you can see, I'm staying up in the 40 FPS, and I have all of the eye candy. I even have the ultra realistic shadows enabled by NVIDIA, which makes it look really nice. So after this, I'm going to show you what it's like walking around outside, what it's like first person, and what it's like driving. You can also see that there is no thermal throttling at all while playing the game, and that's something that basically most laptops, when they get really hot, they slow down the specs and then your frame rate drops. Well, you're not going to see anything like that in the MacBook Pro 2016 15-inch. Alright, so here I am just kind of walking around. Some guy attacks me and yeah, kicks me in the nuts. God, man, this guy, he just randomly attacked me too. I was like, what is this? I just jumped all over him, tripped all over him. It's kind of funny. And then he like kicks me in the back. It doesn't end well for this guy. I pull out a gun on him. Anyway, so again, this is what the graphics is. See, NVIDIA PCSS, if you reduce that to softest or softer, the shadows won't look nearly as good, but the game will give you an extra 5 to 10 FPS. So I have that enabled right now, and during a police chase, you'll see that even with them shooting at me and a lot of action going on, the frame rates don't drop. Plus, Grand Theft Auto is kind of an older game now, and I mean, it's still, people still play it, it's still relevant, but even in first person, the FPS still stays up kind of near the high 40s and just runs really, really well. I was actually quite surprised how fun the first person mode is in Grand Theft Auto. I thought it would maybe be kind of like a gimmick, but it's actually really fun to toggle. Let's talk about ARK. So it doesn't matter how you spin it. ARK Survival is a really, really hard game to run. Regardless of what graphical setting I put it on, the game just doesn't work right. It doesn't run good at all. If you want, you can play the game at 30 to 40 FPS if you decrease the resolution super, super low, or if you decrease the quality to almost lowest possible. It's an extremely hard game to run, even for people with extremely powerful gaming rigs and powerful gaming laptops. Take a look at like my Alienware review, for instance, of how I tried to play ARK Survival on the Alienware 13, and I tried to play it on the Alienware 15 and 17. It struggles to run this game, and it's mostly because the game is really just not optimized. And yes, I understand they're indie developers and all that, but it just doesn't run very good. If you want to run the game, you should play it on a desktop. StarCraft ran surprisingly good. I have everything maxed out. A resolution at 1680 by 1050. Still looks great, still plays really, really well. So here I am expanding my bases. I got some barracks built, and I'm gonna make a small army of maybe 50 guys and see if I can go blow up one of their bases. So right now we're just looking around, trying to see if we can scout the map out a bit. And let's see, so the enemy base in the top right hand corner, and there now he's dead. At 1080p, you're not gonna have any issues playing Diablo 3. It's now a fairly dated game, kind of like StarCraft 2 and World of Warcraft. Pretty much any system can run this game as long as you have fairly moderate specifications. You should be able to play the game and enjoy it. Here I am running around, killing some creeps and some zombies, and really not running into any issues whatsoever. So I don't think you guys need to worry about this game. So in a lot of my tests, you guys always tell me to go somewhere where it's very populated when testing World of Warcraft. I can't figure out for the life of me how to move around and navigate within World of Warcraft. How do you go to a more populated zone? I don't know how to do it. I have the graphics maxed out, I have the resolution maxed out here as well, and regardless of what you do, the game runs well. I'm certain if you go into a heavily populated zone, you're gonna have to probably tear down to 1680 by 1050 at a minimum, because I know that in MMOs, games can get really, really intense sometimes. If you guys know how to do it, let me know so I can recreate the video and add that portion. How do you move from the beginning phase of the game to a heavily populated area? Maybe I just don't know how to navigate the menus. And definitely don't forget to check out some of the links for these products, which I will be talking about right now. Links will be posted in the description below. So let's take a look at the first product. All right, so hands down, the number one thing you're gonna need to get for your MacBook Pro is gonna be an SSD drive. This little external SSD drive is gonna be able to store movies, games, photos, anything you want. You can store it on this drive. And the reason it's important to get is because it's just a matter of time before you run out of storage. The 2016 MacBook Pros, they don't come with a lot of storage, so getting a little drive like this is highly recommended. If you can't afford that particular one, we also have more affordable variants from Seagate or even Western Digital. But again, the reason I showed the SSD is due to its reliability and how fast it is. When you're gonna be loading games or watching movies or moving files, it's just gonna be way, way quicker. So try to stay away from the hard drive discs only opt for the SSD variant because you just really can't compare them. Once you've got enough storage, you're really going to want to get yourself some kind of sleeve. Here's a particular sleeve that I reviewed last year. It's still one of my favorite sleeves because of its simplicity. It only has, just a few pockets and just this little Velcro-like enclosure. Other brands have also made different types of sleeves and cases for your MacBook Pro, so definitely be sure to take a look at some of these links here. And last but not least, one of my favorite mouses, the MX Master by Logitech. This thing is amazing. It looks pretty sweet. It's got a really cool angular design. It can scroll up, down, left, right. It's got 2 scroll wheels here, and overall it's just really simple, and it supports Bluetooth, and it supports the wireless dongle. So here you can actually switch around by pressing this little button here. You can go from 1, 2, or 3 different connections to 3 different computer systems. This particular mouse just happens to be really advanced and very, very ergonomic. So it just fits really nice in my hand, which is why I like it. $455 or $460, which should you get? It's only about $100 more, and it'll give you an extra 2 gigabytes of video RAM. Now, I would say the $100, in my opinion, is worth it. However, in this particular video, I opted not to get it because I wanted to see if I come with the cheapest MacBook Pro 15-inch that would run all my games and still be a really good, powerhouse, workhouse device where I can get things done and still game. If you look here, the only main difference is that you have some shading units and you have the extra 2 gigabytes of VRAM. The VRAM will be more useful when you're going to be running at higher resolutions like 1920 by 1080. As you see, a lot of the games I've tested here are running at 1280 by 800 and 1680 by 1050. With some optimizations, I can definitely get the games to run at 1080, but not with all the eye candy. If you want the eye candy, jump up to the more expensive 460 model because I believe it actually will be worth it. But if you don't get it, it's not a deal breaker. You don't need to spend that much money on the device. So a lot of people are asking me, how do you get games on the Mac? How do you get games on the PC? All kinds of questions like that. In this video, I'm going to answer how do you get games on the Mac, your MacBook, your iMac, whatever, just your Apple products in general. If you're looking for help with Windows or Microsoft type related thingies, click on this link here if it's made yet, and I'll show you how to do it for Windows. But for right now, I want to tell you guys how to do it on the Mac. So let's say you have a MacBook and you want to play GTA 5 on your MacBook. Well, you can't because GTA 5 is only for Windows. That means you need to install Windows on your MacBook or your iMac or Mac Mini, whichever other Apple product you have. So to do that, you have to use Boot Camp. Boot Camp is a software that's already on your computer, on your Mac, iMac, whatever. It's already on there. So what you want to do is you want to search for Boot Camp in your programs, and you'll see it there. But before that, you're going to need to get yourself a Windows ISO. I'm going to show you how to do that. So go to this link here. You're going to basically go to the Microsoft website and you're going to grab a free version of Windows 10. So Microsoft wants you to buy Windows, but they give you the opportunity to try Windows out for essentially free. But you may lose some features if you don't activate it eventually. Anyway, go to the site here, click there. Get Windows, and once Windows is fully downloaded and installed, you're going to want to get a flash drive. So what's going to happen is once you get your flash drive, plug it into your USB port on your computer, and you're going to open up Boot Camp. Once you open up the Boot Camp software, you're going to follow these prompts here. And essentially what it's going to do is Boot Camp, that software that's already on your MacBook, iMac, or Mac Mini, you're going to take that software and you're going to grab the ISO you just downloaded from the Microsoft website. It'll probably grab it automatically as shown here. And then you're going to install Windows onto your computer. And so essentially what that's going to do is you're now going to have OS X, and you're going to have Microsoft Windows 10 or 8 or whichever Windows you want running on your Apple product. So that's pretty much how you do it. Once you've done that, that's like the biggest step that you need to do to get games on your Mac. So once that's installed, then essentially you just have to grab yourself some games. Most games on the Mac are going to be on either the Steam platform, and essentially Steam is just a way to download games. Here's what their website looks like. They always have awesome like weekly and even daily deals on games here. I pick up most of my games here. If you're like a Battlefield fan or you like to play The Sims 4 for instance, that you get from the Origin website. So Steam and Origin are going to be your ways of getting games for your Mac. So I'll just go ahead and show you what these look like real quick, and from there, once you open up the app, you just search for what you want. It's that simple, guys. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how to get 4 games on your Mac. And I'm going to go step by step through the process just so you guys know how to do it. Because a lot of people are asking me, how do you download games? What do you actually do? Where do you go? Again, the biggest step is to install Windows first, because you don't have Windows, and most games are on Windows. And the reason for that is when Apple was creating their Mac, they never really catered to gamers that much. And essentially, long story short, all you really need to know is 90% of games are on Windows, so you need to get Windows installed. Alright, let's get to it. Follow these easy steps on how to install Windows 10 on the new MacBook Pro. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and grab yourself a micro USB, plug it into your computer. So go ahead and go to the Windows website and grab yourself an ISO. So once you reach the Microsoft website, you can get yourself a Windows 10 ISO. Select the edition you want, select the product language, then select 64-bit. You don't necessarily need a product key right away to use this ISO. You can skip it during the installation process, although there'll be some things you won't be able to change about Windows. Any questions about the process, I can help you out. Go ahead, access your applications by pressing the F4 key over here. Search for Boot Camp, type in boot, click on Boot Camp Assistant, and basically just click next on pretty much all of these prompts here, except for this area. You want to get the latest Windows support software for Apple, and you want to create a Windows 8 or later install disk. So check everything you see here, then click Continue. This will ensure that you get the necessary drivers. The image, it'll just detect it. If it doesn't detect it, click Choose, and then pick it. Click Continue. It will be erased. That's okay. You're going to want that because that's where you're going to put the Windows 10 on and install it for us. Wait for it to install. You'll reach a point where you're going to want to select how much you want of that hard drive to be Windows. Go ahead, type in your password, and then you're going to choose how much space you're going to want on your Windows partition. You know, what do you find more important? Do you want more OS X space or do you want more Windows? Now and then it won't restart into actual Windows. Restart here, and then hold down the Option key to choose the Windows partition. What do you know? This is the way it is. Click Next. Windows 10 Enterprise. Accept the user license agreement. You're going to want to select the Boot Camp partition. Click Format. Click OK. And then click Next. So when you're installing Windows, it could take up to about 10 to 15 minutes to get this installed. And then it's going to restart on its own. Use the Express settings. Use Express. Enter a username. We'll do SERGE. So right now you have Windows installed, but you need to make sure that you install the Boot Camp driver. Go ahead, click Next. Accept the terms. Next. And there it goes. Make sure you don't forget to install that particular portion, because if you do, you won't have proper controls set up. You won't be able to use the volume keys, and things will be wonky. So make sure you get those installed. Go ahead and restart the computer, and you guys should be good to go. Ask you if you want to restart. Click Yes. This will ensure that the drivers are fully applied. And there you are. Welcome to Windows 10. You're almost there. Hold on. So now that you've installed Windows, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get Steam and we're going to get Origin. And I'm going to show you how these work. Let's take a look. So the first thing you need to do now that you've booted into Windows successfully is open up the Internet Explorer application. Now it's going to ask you a bunch of weird questions and stuff. Don't worry about that. Just type in Steam in the search engine like we're doing right now and click on the first link there to access the Steam website. There's a search bar at the top. We can search for games, but we just want to install Steam. So let's go ahead and click on the Install Steam button, the green one. Going to click Run, and eventually it's going to pop up and you're going to install it. Go click Next, go through all the procedures and how to install it. Keep pressing Next, and eventually you'll reach a point where it'll restart and then it'll start to basically update, which is totally normal. It just does that. Now let's go ahead and grab Origin because the update process on Steam is going to take a while. Let's go ahead and grab Origin, search for Origin, click on the Origin front page there on the website there. Pretty easy. Click on Download Origin at the top right there, and then just click Run. And once it opens up, it's the same thing. Click Next, go through all the prompts, and yeah, we'll take a look and see what we can get. Account, and I'm going to show you how the windows in Steam look. So here at the front page you got all the new Steam specials going on. So these are the games that you can get and play right now. They're the new ones. They're the ones on sale. These are the ones you probably want to get, but just for the sake of for fun, I'm going to show you how to get GTA 5. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to click on the little blue search bar at the top right there. But you got to make sure that you're in store, because if you're in library, you see your own game library, which might not have a lot of games. So click on store, go to the little search box there, like I'm doing now, and type in GTA 5. As you type it in, it comes up with everything GTA 5 related. Go ahead, input your age, and then press enter. So any game you search for will have like a trailer. And you could like watch the trailer. It's pretty sweet. You'll also see a way to like interact with other users with the community tab at the top right there, at the top left there. So Steam is great because it allows you to make friends online. You can play with them. You can see which games they're playing. Right now I'm showing you basically how to check out and how to buy a game. Input your debit or credit card number information in there, and then just click continue. So the process is pretty similar for Origin. Essentially, it's got a window that pops up that shows all of your games, all of the games that are in the store that you can buy, and from there you just want to pick the games you want to pick. So same thing again, either log in or create yourself a new account. So shows the daily game of the day. So free game for you, Jade Empire. So then it's going to have a few more ads on the inside of the store page. Just search for the game you want. If you're getting Origin, there's probably a pretty high chance you're doing it because of Sims 4 or Sims 3 or other Sims titles. So I typed in Sims 4, click on the game you want, and it's as simple as that. and shows the checkout process, and I'll show you some of the games that I have here. I'm a big Battlefield fan. I think the FIFAs are cool. I played some of the demos, and then yeah, I like Sims as well. Alright guys, you got pretty far in the process. Most likely you may have run into some issues here and there. That's okay. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and I'll be sure to help you guys out. I might not be able to get to all the comments instantly, but I'll try to get there as quickly as possible. So I'm a pretty active YouTuber and I do comment a lot myself. It's going to require you hours and hours of time to pretty much get all this done. So don't be afraid if you need to go back and take a look at the video again. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful at all, I highly encourage that you guys subscribe, because I make these videos for you guys, and I'm trying to grow the channel. So let's build a community together. Hey, I wanted to say thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you have any feedback, or you want me to improve the video by adding something to it or removing something, let me know in the comment section below, because I am looking to improve these videos for you guys. So overall, I gotta hand it to you. I actually am impressed with the gaming performance of this MacBook Pro. Yes, it does have the Radeon in there, and a lot of people think, man, this thing is just, the spec sheet of this thing really shows that it's really not that powerful. But the thing is, most games are going to run good. You can play AAA titles. You want to play Battlefield 4, you want to play Rust, ARK Survival, you can actually do it on this particular configuration, and you're really not going to have that many problems. Games that aren't as graphically intensive are definitely going to run better, but it really just depends on which model you are buying. All in all though, I do recommend you get this particular model, but I will be testing the more expensive models and the lower end base model of the 15-inch MacBook Pro as well. So if you're interested in that, I definitely recommend you stick around, press that subscribe button, because I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And yeah, thanks for dropping in. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, guys.